Live from Younow because I'm broadcasting on Younow. I wanted to get this out. I knew it was something that would be hard to do with my time, so I wanted to do it here because this is the easiest way to do it. Dun, dun, dun. Let's get this going. I want to be able to show you the chat here. Definitely need to turn that off. And let's do share screen. Can I get it so it only shows that one little bit? I don't know. Stop doing that, browser. Getting there. Have patience, everyone. All right. There we go. So you'll be able to see chat. With lots of other things. Today I want to take a quick moment to talk about life and death and some of the challenges that being a vegan has made for me. I just got back from the hospital where my mother-in-law, my wife's mom, is near death. The doctors have stopped trying to do anything, and now they're just trying to make her comfortable. She's 84 years old, and she has COPD, which is a lung condition, and she has degenerative heart disease as well. She's had balloons done in her arteries. She's had stents done in her arteries. And it's not helping. And she's going to die. And on the drive back from visiting her in the hospital, I'm thinking to myself, why didn't I do more? Why didn't I learn about veganism sooner? Why didn't I learn about the health benefits that could be there and help prolong life? Why didn't I become a doctor? Because surely if I was a doctor, I would have figured out ways to help people like this. Why do I feel like I should have been able to do something? Now I know thinking that veganism can cure all the health problems of the world is the wrong way of thinking. But we as vegans still tend to feel that sometimes. And it's so painful and so difficult to be around people that are having health struggles or people that are having problems that we kind of feel in our hearts that if you had been vegan for maybe even just 3 weeks, you could have had improvement. And then we realized that we ourselves weren't vegan soon enough. We ourselves were only vegan for the last 2 years. What if we were vegan when we were 30 years ago? If I had been vegan 30 years ago, imagine the people I could have influenced. The people I could have made better. It's all good and well that I'm trying to take health on my own and I'm trying to help myself be better so that I'm there for my kids and I'm there for my grandchildren and maybe even if I'm lucky, their children. But that doesn't stop me feeling like I still could have done better and that I should have. And that's about all I have to say, is that some of the challenges with being a vegan are sometimes having these feelings. And that's okay. But we have to keep in mind that we have an opportunity to do something different today. Every day that we're vegan is an opportunity to help move veganism forward. To give other people information that can change their lives. To give other people information that can change the world. And we should take advantage of those opportunities in whatever way we can find that works for us. Some of us feel we need to attack people online and do shock videos and things like that. Some of us find ways to just communicate. Some of us just find being a good example for those that they love around them is enough. But whatever it is, let's make sure we keep doing it. Let's not give up. Thanks. Hey everyone, I'm online. I was just doing a video that's going up on YouTube because I felt strongly about that on my way back from the hospital. And it's tough, you know? It's really tough. We have these challenges and we really feel like we found the answer. And it might have been an answer for us, but it's not necessarily going to be an answer for someone else. I mean, and we have to come to terms with that ourselves. You know, all we can do is be a good example. And maybe that will inspire people. I hope you've been having a good day, Joe. It's been overall a tough day for me. Wife's been staying at the hospital with her mom. I've been kind of hesitant to visit her there just because she's really degrading pretty fast. And I'm a person that likes to solve problems, and that's not a problem I can solve. And that makes me very uncomfortable. I don't think my wife understands how uncomfortable that makes me. But that's my cross to bear. Yeah, and you know, that's really tough. Your dad and doctors, and you know, my dad's not young. I'm sure I'm going to have to deal with this stuff soon too. My mom's got all kinds of health problems, but she keeps on ticking. I mean, she's really a strong individual. She has lots of medical problems. I take her to the Mayo Clinic pretty regularly to get various things checked out, though she doesn't have heart disease. Her cholesterol and stuff's really good, so she might just be genetically lucky in that aspect. She's not genetically lucky in a bunch of other ones. But, you know, I'm even bummed that I didn't become vegan sooner for my kids. You know, really, no matter what example I set for my kids, they're not, you know, they're kind of watching and they're kind of listening, but it's not really sticking. I suppose part of that's their age. They're in their late 20s. And so they're still feeling like they're going to do whatever they want to do, you know, kind of experience life and stuff like that. Wow, that's really great, Joe. I think, I mean, that if she really is able to stick to, you know, kind of a whole food vegan diet, I think that's the big thing, is that just because you're vegan doesn't mean that you're healthy. It helps a lot, right? It helps a lot. But if you're vegan and you have lots of money, there's certainly a lot of stuff to buy that isn't exactly whole food. I feel like poor vegans probably have a better dietary intake than wealthy vegans just because of that. Yeah, I think, where the greatest impact can be in dietary and lifestyle changes is in the elderly, because for the most part, assuming genetics is not playing assuming genetics does not have your body trying to kill you, which can really happen in a lot of people, generally your body wants to heal. And it just needs you to give it a chance. And by far, eating whole plant foods, whole fruits, whole vegetables, beans and legumes, eating that stuff is really what our bodies want. And if you give that to your body can do magical stuff with those foods. Just completely. Science can't even really fully understand what the body does when it gets the right stuff. We're just now starting to get enough evidence from studies and doctors studying things to really understand that these foods do better. Their reductionist theories cause them to miss a bunch of stuff, and they're really just now starting to recognize that it's the whole food. It's not just the one piece of it, the one vitamin that makes it happen. It's the whole food that really gets the benefit. And that's what's so crazy. For veganism, we could wrap it all up inside health because it's such a big thing. But to be completely honest, to be 100% honest, you don't have to be vegan necessarily to be healthy. You could eat some animal products every once in a while, and you'd probably still gain, 95% of the benefits of a whole food plant-based diet. And that's because our body is so resilient. Our body can fight that stuff. Obviously our body can fight that things. Otherwise we'd have people dying all over the place because we eat like shit right now in America. So if we did get everyone to change, that'd be great. Health and stuff like that. But veganism is so much more than that. It's not just about what's good for our bodies, but it's really what's good for, really our souls and our planet. For me, a lot of the ethical things around veganism isn't just simply that, we don't want to do that to animals. We don't want to, we shouldn't be doing all the different stuff that we do to animals. For me, for veganism, is simply that I feel like human society should be able to be better than that. The stuff we're doing with animals and the things that we allow ourselves to do, even to other humans, is the same shit that was done, in the 1800s and before that. Have we not, as humans, advanced at all? Why haven't we recognized yet that treating other beings the way we're willing to treat beings today isn't good for anything? It's definitely not good for us from a mental perspective, from a social perspective. We really need to find a way to accelerate veganism. I don't know how to do it. I'm trying to find ways to do it. I'm working with a political party, the Humane Party. I'm trying to help them accelerate their platform. whatever that is. I'm new in there and I'm trying to figure it out. I think I see opportunities to help them already. I just need to get the time to do it. I try to make YouTube videos to try to get education out there. I try to support other people that are making videos out there that try to get the message out there, you know. But I feel like I need to do more. And I guess maybe that's because that's the type of person I am. I'm driven to do things. So, yeah. Yeah, Joe, I know. Everything's a small step. I just want to make bigger steps. I want big steps. I look at veganism, you know, and I've looked at some different vegan organizations that are out there around the country. And I feel like they're stuck. Right? They got their little group of people donating money and they keep their little organization alive, and you know, they might have some members and stuff, and they have like potlucks or feedings and stuff like that, and they do kind of outreach in their little area, but they're doing the same thing they've done for years, and it hasn't expanded, it hasn't grown. Trying to grow things is not something that necessarily one group can do all on their own. We need to find a way for everyone to work together towards a common purpose. And while we have all this BS, Order 66, you're more vegan than I'm vegan bullshit going on in social media, there's still other people that are trying to do something different, really. And those kind of the loud, irritating part of veganism, that's really a fringe group. You know, it seems like it's big, but it's just a fringe. The bigger group is not that. They're just not very loud. And maybe that's the thing that we need to do, is help these other people that are vegan and want to support veganism. We need to find a way to help them gain their voice. We need to help them be able to find a way to communicate that's beyond simply writing a check to PETA. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll figure it out. You know, like I said, I'm a problem solver at heart. And I can see the path. Part of that is helped by my experience. You know, and there's a lot of people, especially in social media veganism, they're younger people, so they don't have that experience yet. But these are types of problems that have already been solved before by other people on different things. It's not, what we're trying to accomplish for veganism isn't a new thing, right? It's just that how it affects how it affects society, kind of the way that, you know, veganism isn't like a religion where everyone just kind of follows one kind of book. Veganism kind of spans all kinds of, money. It spans different income ranges. It spans different races. It spans different religions. And so getting all of those people, not necessarily pointing at one thing, but going in the same general direction, is really kind of the key to unlocking the acceleration of veganism. How do we get everyone working in the same general direction? Well, I'm sure lots of people would think that we've been working in the same general direction all along just because we're vegan, right? Vegan is just the same direction. But as we've seen, it's kind of stagnant. Yeah, we see activity flourishing around veganism because more studies have come out, and we've got food products that have been popular. Kind of the millennial generation has kind of decided they want to eat more locally. They want to eat more fresh stuff, and they've kind of dug up some of this, vegan and vegetarian, plant-based eating, and excuse me. I think that we're still kind of stagnant. It's growing and the options are more available, but we're not organized any better. So really what I'm looking at over the next, started last year and I'm still doing it this year, is how do we get a wide, diverse group of people organized, not in like an organization like you might think of, say, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, but organized in a way that we can leverage our group, the whole of us, to help make change in society, to help push politicians to listen to us, to help push advertising. I think it's a little more organized in the real world compared to... Yeah. Well, it is organized, Joe. But if you look, go find in your city or in your state, go find a vegan society or the vegan society or a chapter or anything like that, and talk to them about where they are today versus where they were when they started. Or maybe 10 years ago or 5 years ago if they started further back. Ask them what their budgets are, right? And find out what it is they're doing to promote veganism in their area. And I bet you're going to find that they're doing about the same damn thing they did 10 years ago. And their budgets haven't really changed significantly with the rate of inflation. And so as we get into veganism, we find these organizations and we're like, boy, they're doing great. Yeah, Joe. And, I think Portland has been almost a magnet, right? It's kind of like San Francisco brought in a lot of homosexual people just because it just was a good area for people with that drive to be together. And I think Portland seems to be really kind of like the mecca for vegans in America. Certainly from a certain perspective, there's certainly the Los Angeles vegans, and then there's the Florida vegans and stuff like that. But it does skew things in Portland. And that's great that it's happening in Portland, but how do we take that and make that national? Like I can go into Minneapolis and I can find there's probably 5 places that have, vegan menus. Like they'll have other food in there, but they'll have a whole section just for vegan. I could eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner there vegan. There's at least 3 places that are just vegan. Everything on the menu is vegan. I go to Grand Rapids, Minnesota, which is up in the north forested areas. The best I can find is a cookie that they call vegan, but it has honey in it. So while we're getting options in pockets, we're not, at least from my perspective, I don't see us making a real difference where we're really materially changing the growth within local vegan groups, right? We're not expanding outside of the comfortable range of what we were able to find when we started. And either that's because maybe they're not sure how to do that, Or maybe that's because they're afraid to do that and alienate people that are already with them. But I think there are ways to help kind of bring groups together and move us all kind of in the same direction at the same time, which is hard for vegans. I'm going to be honest with you. In general, veganism can be so isolating that we like to be isolated. We don't like to be in groups, you know. There's meetups. Meetup.com, you know, has meetups for vegan people. And there might be 500 people in the vegan community, right, around there, and maybe 2 people show up. Because in general, vegans are a little bit isolationist, I find. You know, sure, we'll find them on YouTube or Younow talking, but they don't really go outside that much. And it's kind of funny about that. So how do we get all these isolationists to work together and really promote our views and get it heard? You know, either politically, you know, at your local school board. If you're a vegan and you've got vegan kids going to school, you should be petitioning your school board to have vegan meals available for your kids and have vegan options available within the school. And that can be hard for people. So one of the things I'd like to see is resources available for people to be vegan, right? Resources for that pregnant vegan mother when she goes to her OBGYN and the doctor tries to tell her diet is no good for her. She should have resources that come from vegan medical associations or vegan medical practitioners that she can point her OBGYN to that show that as long as she's eating this way and as long as she's doing physical things that way, she can have a thriving pregnancy. And I think that's a thing that's lacking a lot in our community. You go into a doctor's office and you look on this wall and they'll have a wall of pamphlets, right? What do you do if you have diabetes? What do you do if you have this? How to do this with that? There's not a single pamphlet on the wall that says how to be vegan, right? How to be a healthy vegan. And that's especially important in essentially lower income areas because they're going to be on, you know, on government aid. They're going to be on welfare or something like that. They're going to be going to see, you know, Medicaid or Medicare doctors. And a lot of them are going to have English as a second language. So how do we meet the needs of those people? They can't even watch my stream and understand what I'm talking about. They can't watch my videos and know what I'm talking about. So how do we make sure that there's vegan resources to help those people know how to have a healthy vegan diet and not just eat Twinkies? So it's always going to be interesting what we do. Yeah, and Joe, you're right. Where is that critical mass? What is that critical mass that we need to have? And I talked about that a little bit in my last video where I was talking about vegan communities. And how do we, you know, what do we do? Because we could start up a community, right? We could go find a city or part of an existing city and develop an area and just say, you know, this is our vegan community. We're going to put houses in here. There's going to be houses built to vegan standards, right? It's going to be limited animal products or anything used in the construction of the homes. We're going to have like maybe tiny home area. We'll build buildings for businesses, and then we'll have, you know, we'll have our bank that's run, that run by vegans, for vegans. We'll have a vegan daycare center. We'll have our vegan laundromat. We'll have, basically a small community that's vegan stuff and supporting vegans and veganism. We could do that. But how does that move veganism forward? Us being in our own little commune? Yes, Dr. Neil Bernard does great. And I support the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. I support them financially. And they're very effective at trying to get you to support them financially once they get your name. That's something that some other groups could really learn to do. But that's what you have to do. And it's great. I'm number 2 on vegan. Who's taking up my time? Oh, the anxious vegan. Yep. Yeah, Joe, I agree. We're not doing ourselves too many favors by arguing with each other on YouTube or in Younow or on Instagram or wherever that is. And the hard part of that is that a lot of the people that are on social media are looking to make money on social media. So it's really their livelihood, and they're not really interested in sharing the spotlight with anyone else. You don't see a lot of collaboration in the vegan YouTube space because everyone's kind of trying to make their own spot. And I think that can change. But very cool. Very cool. Thanks for everyone that stopped by and watching. Aragro Part Lamanati. Probably butchered your name there. But yeah, Joe, I have zero time for it. And, it's not as popular as people think it is. But the problem is that enough people watch it that it gets, whatever YouTube's algorithm is, it ends up getting suggested. So that kind of crap just gets suggested. And then people click on it. They do a good job with their thumbnails and stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully there'll be better ways to do that stuff soon. I think that there is pushback from some of that. Well, I don't have any problem with entertainment of it. I think it's when it goes towards slander and defamation that it becomes a real problem. And really the problem is that we've got people that are talking shit about other people, and they don't understand that they need to be careful what they say. And they're going to find themselves in legal trouble if they don't watch it. But yeah, not much more to say. I just wanted to get that because it's so, it really hits me hard thinking about if but for my inaction, is this happening, right? If it's because I was inactive, is this happening? Or if I was active, could this have changed? Probably not. But I'm not the type of person that's going to really accept that. It's tough. Yeah, I tried to bring up. Really what I'm trying to talk about is just the stuff that comes to me. It's really part of my vegan journey is how I think change has changed. and how veganism's really opened my eyes to the terrible things that humans can do. But on that note, I guess I'll end the stream. Thanks again for watching. Thanks, Joe. I assume you're going to be on the drums later tonight, maybe? I'll probably be sleeping, so I won't see it, but I'm sure you'll have a great time. Saw you were doing a walk broadcast, and I hope the weather was nice for that. Still a little cold here in Minnesota. I am donating blood tomorrow, because if I want to make a change on humanity, that's probably the most direct way I could possibly impact a human life, and that's by donating blood. So that's what I'm doing. I'll report back on Wednesday on how it went. See if they stick the needle right the first time. My veins aren't very surfacey, so it can be a bit of a challenge. Thanks so much, everyone, for checking it out, and I'll catch you on my next stream. Bye.